All right, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. So as you saw right there in the video, this is when, it was beautiful outside, that night. Well, I recorded this last night, but it was beautiful outside and I decided to go for a walk. The stars were out, it was warm outside. The moon was gleaming. Decided to go for a walk. And, on my way back to my destination, because I gotta be up for work or whatnot. The Lord set it up to where I encountered a deer, and this deer was behind some small little business. And basically, when I saw this, the first thing that came to my mind was 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter. I'm gonna get it, okay? 2nd Esdras, chapter 5, verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places. And seeing deer or bears or wolves or creatures that you would normally see in the woods, you would see in jungles, you would normally see in the forest. It becomes confusing when you start seeing them roaming inside your cities where you dwell at. And not only are the people confused, it's not just the people that are confused, okay? You gotta understand that the animals are confused too, because we know that according to Job chapter 9 verse 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Who is the wicked? Okay, well, Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return to build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them, who's the them? Edom. Whereas Edom said, right, Edom, they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people whom the Lord have indignation forever. So the Lord have indignation against these Edomites because they are the wicked. And we know that the Heavenly Father is a righteous God. So when it says the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, the earth is given into the hands of the Edomites today. And the biblical Edomites, according to Genesis 25, the 25th chapter, okay, the Edomites is the self-proclaimed white man, Esau. Okay, the Edomites, the biblical Edomites today is the self-proclaimed white man. And that starts with the so-called elites who call themselves Rothschilds or Rockefellers, trickling down to the rest of their nation of people. These are your Edomites today that rule the world, that have control over the face of the earth, that have, okay, these self-proclaimed white people. You know, we know that they live in the best areas on the planet. They live in the best neighborhoods. Because going back to the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter, Isaac blessed Esau with the fatness of the earth. And by his sword would he live and serve his brother Jacob. So pretty much these Edomites, they pretty much have conquered the world through the sword. But you see, the sword of the so-called white man, it goes beyond just, you know, the gun or the nuclear bomb. Esau's sword is also these factories. Because, I mean, what is a sword? A sword is an instrument of death or destruction. Of course, it can also be an instrument that can be used to defend yourself. But is Esau using the sword to defend himself? No, he's using the sword to bring what? Death and destruction. Okay, so Esau's sword does not just come in the form of the gun or a nuclear bomb. The sword of the self-proclaimed white man also comes in the form of GMO foods. It comes in the form of plastic. It comes in the form of these phones and laptops that we use, which emits harmful levels of radiation. Okay, these cell towers, these 5G towers, okay, the VACCINES, okay, that people have taken before under the after being deceived of, you know, receiving protection, when really they just ended up getting deleted early, okay, or delete suddenly, where suddenly they just perish. You know, his sword also comes in the form of chemtrails. His sword comes in the form of nuclear radiation. His sword comes in the form of deforestation. His sword comes in the form of harmful toxic metals and chemtrails and the HARP program and deception, lies, trickery, deceit. You see? So, I mean, like, starting forest fires and creating tsunamis through the HARP program, that's also his sword, right? So, you know, we understand that these animals that are generally, you know, that you find sitting out, you know, traveling through the cities or not, like a deer or whatever, a wolf, a bear, animals like these that are roaming the cities, the results of this is what? Well, the results of this is you know, basically their habitat being destroyed. Animals having to relocate, having to find a new place to sleep, eat, drink, shit, mate, hibernate. Why? Because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And Proverbs 29 verse 2 warned us about what will happen when the wicked bear rule. In Proverbs 29 verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. The righteous is talking about the Israelites. Okay, and when you look up the word righteous means right-wise. And what does it mean to be right-wise? It means to do that which is pleasing in the sight of the Lord. And you do that which is pleasing in the sight of the Heavenly Father by obeying his laws, statutes, and commandments, which he have given only to the Israelites. in which only the Israelites, which are the Negro, Latino, and Native Indians, can keep the law, statutes, and commandments on this side because they were given to us. And I say on this side because after the heathens served their 1,000 years of slavery in the kingdom of heaven, the Edomites are going to be exterminated from out the face of the earth. The heathens are going to get their land back, but even they will have to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments and the customs of the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven. So, but on this side, the only ones who can keep the laws, statutes, and commandments are the Israelites, which are the Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. And when you keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, okay, you get a righteous order in the earth. Okay. What the hell? Man, what you doing? Okay, you get a righteous order in the earth. But when you do things disorderly, you know, you're just destroying the earth. Well, this is what happens. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Now, the word wicked means morally wrong. And anything that is completely contrary to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, is considered morally wrong. Okay? Homosexuality, which is promoted by Edomites, that's morally wrong. Adultery, that's morally wrong according to the Holy Scriptures. Tattoos, that's morally wrong. Dreads, that's morally wrong. Eating unclean foods like pork, catfish, shrimp, crabs, lobsters, oysters, sea roaches, electric eels. That's morally wrong. You're not supposed to eat those things. You're not supposed to eat crustaceans, period. But nonetheless, they're made a delicacy at your grocery stores or your so-called fancy restaurants, because there's no such thing as a fancy restaurant that sells lobster, crabs, or unclean food. Okay. Which, being fancy goes back to being righteous, man. You know. But you see, this is what happens when the wicked is in rulership. So let's go back to 2nd Esdras 5 and 8. Okay. 2nd Esdras chapter 5 verse 8. There shall be a confusion in many places. And the reason why there's so much confusion around the earth, which when you look up the word confusion, the word confusion literally means to fuse together. Okay, you got the word con, C-O-N, right? Which means together. And then you got fusion or fuse, which means when you're basically when you're taking two separate entities and you're trying to mix them. So the word confusion literally means to mix together. And what is America, aka Babylon the Great in the Holy Scriptures, known as? Is known as, okay, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay, and this one thing this country is known for is confusion. Okay, you watch the news, they tell you everything is going well with Iran. You know, the peace talks are coming through and the Strait of Hormuz might just open up and blah, blah, blah. But then you turn around the next minute and you got this red hairy ass motherfucker, DJ Trump, talking about mandatory military drafts in the month of December. If peace talks, peace talks are coming successful, as you claim they are, why the fuck is there still a why the fuck is there still a mandatory military draft in the month of December? Again, because this is the city of confusion. Hence, when you look up the word Babylon, it goes back to the Hebrew word Babal, which means confusion. Okay? This is the great city, also known as a melting pot. And within this country, all religions are accepted. Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Catholicism, you know, the worship of Chemosh, Islamic. Many different types of religions are accepted here. But then you go to different countries and you notice how only one particular religion is accepted in their land. But you come to America and all religions are accepted, because this is the land of great confusion. Okay, this is the land of great confusion. So there shall be confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out. The fire shall be oft, sent out again. It says, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. So it said that wild beasts shall change their places. And a deer, do I really need to tell you what a deer is? A deer is a wild beast. Okay, it belongs out in the wild, the woods, the jungle, the forest, whatever. It don't belong in a city. But again, when you got all this deforestations going on, when you got rivers and lakes becoming undrinkable because the filtering systems in the waters, which was used to keep the rivers and the lakes and the oceans cleaner, such as gold, silver, lobster, crabs, fishes who were created to keep the waters clean, being taken out of the oceans. Gold and silver is being heaped up in a large treasury locked away somewhere. Okay, the sea creatures are being made a delicacy when there's particular sea creatures are being made a delicacy when they're supposed to be in the oceans and rivers, keeping the place clean, pristine, clear. So when water becomes undrinkable, that forces these animals to have to relocate. And I feel bad for the deer, Rather, if that deer is a male or a female, the deer do not belong in the city, man. Okay, now, and of my knowledge, I don't believe there's any woods nearby. Because, I live in Niagara Falls, New York, but at one time, Niagara Falls, New York used to be literally a huge Amazon full of jungles and forests. But all those Amazons of jungles and forests got replaced with what? Industrialized cities. That's why when you read Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children. Whose slaughter? For whose children? The children of the Edomites, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Because wherever these Edomites go, they bring death. When you put cement and asphalt all over the earth, you're smothering the earth and you're killing the earth. And because you're destroying the earth, you're causing the animals to suffer. When you destroy trees, when you destroy thousands of miles of acres of land worth of trees, just to have them replaced with industrialized cities and towns and businesses and factories and nuclear plants and power plants. Well, what you're doing is you're destroying the earth. And like it says in Revelation, the 11th chapter and the I believe the 18th verse, okay, the Lord will destroy them that destroy the earth. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Is on to the next one.